to Mrs. Broom in any of your classes so far? Okay, well, one of them along this semester. Okay, you will hear about Mrs. Broom, which was a broom that was kind of, I guess, decorated as a witch, possibly. But it sat in the corner of the room, and if there was anything that students was really upset about, like irate, like, you know, the teacher would just be like, oh, I know the perfect person you should tell this to. And she would send them to Mrs. Broom. And they'd be over there like, you know, so-and-so pushed me recess, and you know, 10 seconds later, they're like, whew, someone's listening to me, you know? And then they would just go about their day. So it's just like little mini things that you just actually don't really need to make a big deal about. The student just feels like they need to talk to someone about it. So that's what kind of some of these are. Like this is tattling Teddy. You go over and you know what, hug Teddy and tell him your problems, and he gives you his love back, and you go about your day. The tattling jar, write a little note, plop it in there. It's over for the day. The telephone ones I think are really neat. I mean, every kid loves it. Like, oh yeah, so one day I was just like, you know,
so those old school telephone.
Yeah, like, you get the one with it where it spins around the dials. Yeah, but
telephone.
Yeah. And we also learned that like if you have a student that needs to be on that phone for 30 minutes in the morning, just saying like how terrible their morning was, or like their brother pushed them, they didn't like what, let it happen. Like if they need that 30 minutes to clear their mind, it would be better throughout the whole entire day for them to start on a better note. So use that as a way to continue your day while they continue to clear theirs.
And if you want to rename it from Tattling Jar, SMA Cadell, who did Educating SMA and Sahara Special, calls it the Trouble Basket or the Trouble Jar. Oh, yeah. So you put your troubles in there, so your troubles have been, you know, removed and washed away. And I have one in my office, so if anybody needs it, one of my advisors, Sammy, not you, but one of my advisors a long time ago made me a trouble basket. And there's candy in it, so when you put your trouble in, you take candy out. And everything's all better then. That's why there's always that candy in my office.
Yeah, and I always just take the candy.
I know, I didn't know to leave the trouble.
I had tons of trouble.
You don't have any trouble.
But I just put the candy. Now it's trouble.
Yeah.
There was also another speaker that we heard that had like a beach chair and like an umbrella, and the student would just go sit over there. Like during circle time, like they'd be like, you know, having a really hard time getting focused. She would just say, oh, you know, if you need a lot to say, go relax. Paradise Island. Yeah, go over to Paradise Island, and they would sit there for a few minutes, and then she had these cards that was like, breathe, relax, whatever, and then they would come back, and they would, you know, they'd be ready to go. Yeah. So, also, hand signals. I don't know if anyone has seen these implemented. Some of these can go higher grades, lower grades. I just put these up as examples. So like one, like R, the sign language of the letter R is this. So like, may I use the restroom? Some people use like 1, 2, 3. You can implement however you want. The D would be for drink, which I know like in my first grade classrooms we've had discussions about sign language, and like they learn that as they learn their letters and stuff. So maybe this would be a perfect way to, you know, tackle both of those at the same time. This one could be like for the order grades, because I feel like for kindergarten, maybe for even second, this would be a lot to remember. But you could just use some of them, like, I mean, I don't know necessarily how many times they would have to go to the office or the nurse, but like if they have a question, if they agree, Bainum has used this, like if you agree, if you don't agree, if you're like on the fence. So that would also be one you could use. The bathroom, like I said. I see the 2 a lot is for the tissue. I don't know, that's just what I've seen a lot of, so.
And then when students are doing that, you don't even have to respond to them, you just nod your head at them. So you make eye contact and nod. So you can be in the middle of teaching and you're managing those students without having to have a disruption in the lesson.
And like raising the hand to go to the bathroom, like you may think they have a question or a comment and you stop the whole entire lesson, you're like, oh, what can I do for you? Like, what's your question? And they're like, oh, can we go to the bathroom? It's like, yeah, you should just raise, you know, give me the signal and just went, so we could just continue on throughout the lesson, because it's a race against the clock when you're teaching. So like that 30 seconds you take to like realize, oh, someone just has to go to the bathroom, like, oh, should have just gave me the signal and just ended it there. Yeah.
And then it's popcorn. Oh, you have to go. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'll go with you.
These are also other ones. Like I said, like the comment one, maybe for order grades. There's the restroom one again. Sharpen the pencil. So these are some ideas you can use. I really like this one though. This is like more of like an informal assessment. So say like you're having a lesson and you're like, oh, not really sure, or you can use it every day really if you're not really sure if everyone's getting it. So you could say like, oh, like 4, give me a 4 if you understand, or 3 if you, I guess this one is, like I understand, and like so on and so forth. Like 1's like I don't understand. So you can kind of get assessments throughout your lesson if you can continue on, or if you should take it back and like reiterate what you know, or a different way to teach it. So that's just kind of a way to do that without asking. So put your hands up if you understand, or like just different ways you can, you know, do formal assessments.
So when you have Dr. Bam for cross-curricular, and she says, put up how many fingers of how comfortable you feel, and you have like 3 fingers up for how comfortable you feel out of like 10 being the best.
Tegan, didn't you just do that like a minute ago?
She's going to be like, okay. And then she's going to break it down for him. So then hopefully by the end of cross-curricular, it'll be like,
regardless of how, like afterwards, you'll be like, like and passing over.
This is me. Do I have to stand in front of the camera?
Yes.
I'm a walker though, so you should probably just hold it.
Okay. I'll just be a photographer,
I like to
I
walk.
guess.
I'd actually rather take my shoes off.
Zach, maybe take a picture and send it to her parents.
Could you? Okay, I'm. Perfect. I am referencing from the book Tough Kid, Toolbox, and the book. This is a class that we have for, Miranda and I are duals, so we're doing special ed and regular ed, and the book looks something like this.
We were not so happy we had to buy 2 books, and then it's actually...
And this.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, we were like, we're not buying this, and we started reading it, we're like, okay, we gotta buy it. It's really good. So I'm referencing from it, so you are about to hear from a like senior level. Freshmen, are you ready?
Isn't that a great motivational prompt?
Are you ready? Mystery I'm sorry, go ahead, what?
Beg me.
Please.
Beg me. Okay, we're begging me, I will. Okay, so mystery motivator, that's the theme. We're going with the classroom management, so mystery motivator. The name of the referencer is written on a slip of paper, sealed inside an envelope, and displayed in a prominent position somewhere in the classroom, such as the middle of the chalkboard. So I'm gonna, my anchor chart here, I'm doing a whole lesson for it. Got my little anchor chart. Can you please, Miranda, could you put it up here for me?
There's no...
This is sticky. Oh, I do it the wrong side. Okay, here, right here.
Vanna, just hold it.
Okay. No, because I need her as a student.
Okay, I'll be Vanna.
Thanks, Vanna. So the idea of this, I'm not teaching the book. The idea of this is that students will work as like a whole group. So you're all my students right now. That's a lot of students. So you're all my students right now. And let's say we're doing math lesson. And you're all involved. Oh my gosh, you guys are doing a great job. Everyone seems connected. Groups they're working together. We have a mystery motivator to get you right. Tough kids, the name for them, are students that kind of maybe act out, or they have trouble sitting in their seat and they're like, I gotta do stuff, I gotta go to the bathroom all the time. So the mystery motivator, the idea behind this is that my students here are working. You guys are doing a great job today. And I know you've been looking at that mystery motivator because you guys want to know what's in that envelope. Since you guys have been doing so well today, Miranda, could you please, on our Monday, because it is Monday morning, could you flip up Monday to see if there is an X? Because if there's an X under there, they get something special. But if there isn't an X, we have to try again tomorrow. So let's see, drum roll.
Like Price is Right, you know?
So there's an X. So the motivation is that students are thinking, oh my gosh, there's an X on Monday. Okay, so you guys will get something, the whole class.
Whole class.
Or if I was doing small groups in my guided reading, let's just say small groups, that group would get something. Individual, this is now great because the tough kid always, they say in the book, like for students by themselves, they have a difficult time following the directions. If they had something like this, they'd be like, oh, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. I can do it. Or I got an X today, that means I get something. So let's put Monday down. It's Tuesday. Kids are ready. They're pumped. They got a sticker yesterday, a big sticker that was glittery.
Wore it on my chest.
They wore it, my whole friend. So we're working. And now it's English class. And Kate, today in English, and we were doing some word work today, and you were phenomenal. You knew your sight words. You had great eye contact. You were on top of your game. Can you please flip for our mystery motivator? Now, it's a new motivator. It's new. It's not a sticker. You don't know what's going to be in there. So could you please flip that Tuesday up for me? Okay. It's like deal or no deal. But now they're thinking, tomorrow, we can do this. Tomorrow. So it's Wednesday. And they're acting crazy. They are out of their seats. They are playing with their pens, their pencils. I'm like, all right, class, you're kind of borderline for your motivator. They're still, they don't care. They're like, we didn't have it yesterday, we're not going to have it tomorrow. I don't care. Sorry, class, you guys can't flip today. But let's just say out of body here. Can you flip on Wednesday? There's an X, and they would have got something for that. But since they were acting up, I said, I'm sorry. So this is just a small thing you can implement in your classroom for students to feel like there's something to work towards. There's goals to work towards. And that's basically like what we're reading in these books. And what I love so much about, thank you, Dr. Bainham. Thank you,
Wait, I do want to say something about this though, too.
Sure, give me 1 second. In the book.
Of course I want to say something.
In the book, I just took it from this, but they have themes. So they have, here's a little, a tank. So if you're working with, in a small group setting with all boys, or girls.
Don't use weapons.
Rock and roll, if anyone knows Ready, Set, Go, last year, Marin and I might have been in the rock and roll band for the night. We could have done something like this with students if that was our topic. So, I mean, the whole book goes through, and you have plenty of time. If you want to go to a bookstore and get it, I would recommend it. Rent it. Check it out. It's not, it's $17 to rent and $35 to buy. And I rented it, and I'm going to go buy it, so see, buy me. So that, I mean, but that's the idea of this simple little chart that you could do for your students.
So when you're working with younger children, they can't wait Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They have to have those increments throughout. So you take that, and it's a.m. or p.m. or 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. In my classroom, I always had, for every month, a poster that I would make. And I would have Velcro on the poster. And for April, it was almost always like an umbrella. And so as I was teaching for a whole group award, I might say, Mindy, go put a piece on the puzzle. Mindy would get up, go, instead of doing that flip, add a piece on the puzzle. When the puzzle is finished for the day, then they have something special. During morning meeting, I would say, here's what we're going to earn as special if we fill in the puzzle. And so then, and I had things like, we'll listen to our favorite music. We'll sing our favorite, like, we had all kinds of classroom songs. We'll march around the room 3 times. We'll, quack like ducks. I mean, like, they all kinds of like silly things that they just absolutely loved, which was the culmination of the end of our day, but it was all day working towards that. So the younger they are, the more effective that is. So also while I ran that, I also would run a lottery in my classroom. So I had a different container, and I would say to kids during the day, go put your name in the lottery. Get a lottery ticket. Get a lottery ticket. And the kids would go over, and they would write their name and put it in the bowl, and then by the end of the week, we were pulling lottery winners. And the kids were like, I won the lottery! We were like, the lottery is some, little extra activity. Or, when you go to yard sales and you start buying little books or little activities or little games or little things, these are wonderful things to be able to give to kids. Especially where I taught, where my kids didn't have a lot. So they became really invested in being able to get something that would go with them. And plus I fed them a lot. So there was constantly that, if we fill the umbrella, we're going to have an extra snack, or because that was a real motivation for them too. So
right, and to go along with that, just like I was demonstrating to you, kids need that in a classroom. They need to feel like they're working towards something, and it needs to be what they like. I can't say, well, you're having a pizza party. Well, what if a kid doesn't like pizza? Or everyone's going to get a sticker. Well, I don't like stickers. Who doesn't like stickers? That's the idea is that you
Post-it notes. You can post-it notes.
But that's what I mean. Like, you have to say as a whole group, if you're doing a whole group setting, what do you like? What are your interests? And that is the motivator. Because then they're like, well, I love that. I want that. So
in one of our classes, we had to fill out what motivates us, our incentive sheet.
Yes.
So it was, writing down, we wrote Hershey Park tickets or like stuff like that. Like we were, going over chocolate.